You totally can wire this front-facing camera. It is a really awesome mod. I didn't think I could necessarily do the wiring at first, but after following some instructions, it actually went really well. The real advantage of having a front-facing camera is going uphill. When you go up a steep uphill, you can't really see over the hood, and so you can use the front camera to identify any sort of objects that might be in your way that you wouldn't normally be able to see. So we are just going to do this crude test here. We're going to put a cone on the top of a short little hill, and we're going to just take a look and see what we can see with the camera. All right, so the front-facing camera is illuminated. The light is illuminated, and we can toggle between front and rear. When you click on the rear, then the bottom light lights up. You can see it shows the rear, even though we are in park. So that's good. Now we're going to switch to front. Now, when the front is on, both lights show up, and that is just normal function. When we switch to front, now we have the front-facing camera, and we are still in park. So now we're going to go in drive. We are still there. On the front, you can see the cone just fine, but now when we start to go up the hill, now we can't really see much of anything in front of us. We can see the cone just fine right there. Okay. So now here we can see this is the license plate right here, and this is the cone. Here is the red line. Let's see how close we can actually get to the cone. We'll put the emergency brake on, put it in park, and let's take a look to see how close we are. So that's not too bad. That's maybe like 1.5 feet or so. So that gives you a good idea of what the front-facing camera is designed to do and what its purpose is. This fits 5th generation 4Runners from 2014 to 2019. And we are in a 2018 TRD off-road 4Runner. So here we go. All right, so this is the Anytime backup camera kit, and we're going to go through and see what this kit includes. Comes with a relay. We'll have to go through all of these parts and really just find out what they are all for. Here is a switch that it comes with. Okay, so we're going to try to take these things off, these side panels. Okay, we got that one off. The first step is to take off the side panels. Oh, that's hard. The next step is to take out the heater control unit. Just be sure you don't pull out that wire in the back. Next, there are 4 bolts here, and you can take those out with a 10mm wrench. Then gently rock the head unit back and forth and pull it out. There are a bunch of clips holding this in place. Just be careful you don't break any. Don't force anything beyond than what you think is normal. And then when you lay it down gently so you don't pull out any of the wires in the back. So behind the radio are 2 plugs that we want to pull out and reattach the new wiring harnesses. Now these will only fit one way, so even if you tried to plug them in wrong, I really don't think you could. So there's 2 of them to pull out and replace with the new wiring harnesses. Next, plug in the RCA ports coming from the relay into the wiring harnesses, and those also can only go in one way. Secure everything with electrical tape and get some of the wires under control. Next, we unscrewed one of the bolts out of the back of the radio. It was pretty tight in there, so we had to use a drill, which worked out just fine, but then the bolt fell into oblivion and we lost it. But that's okay, we got a longer bolt, which we needed anyway to secure the relay to the back of the radio. We did that, and then we plugged the relay back into the wiring harness of the relay. Next, we took the black wire out of the relay and connected an eyelet on the end of it. That is the ground, and we connected that to a screw that's in the side of the radio unit, or the head unit, and that was our ground. Now connect the final RCA cable out of the extension line, secure that with electrical tape, and next you have the green from the relay connecting to the red of the extension cable. Now we took an extra 22 gauge green wire and connected it to this green and red wire, and that is an extra long piece of wire that we are going to connect over to the switch. And the reason we had to do this is because we are locating the switch way on the other side of the steering wheel, so we needed that extension. Now take this bundle of wires, which I protected with this corrugated plastic, and you thread it down behind the head unit console and down underneath. Now go ahead and start to put the head unit back into place. Just be careful you don't pinch any wires, and make sure everything fits properly. Nothing is getting damaged or pinched. Go ahead and snap it back into place. Go ahead and put those 4 bolts back into place and reattach the heat and air control unit. Now we made a mistake here. Normally you would just think to put the sides in, but don't, and that'll be important later. Now the next step is to feed the video cable line through the firewall. There's this rubber grommet, which you probably have things passing through already. Go ahead and push it through, and you can have someone else grab it on the other side and pull it through. You can attach it to a coat hanger or something more stiff if you'd like, but we were able to just push it through without a problem. We initially were going to put the switch up here, but then we decided to put it down here, and the reason for that is that when you're sitting at the driver's side, the steering wheel blocks that switch and you couldn't really see it. Pry back this little side panel, and that exposes a bolt. You should be able to get a socket in there, again a 10mm, and that helps loosen up that side. On the right side there's this little flappy thing. Pry that down. There's another bolt on that side, again 10mm socket, loosens up that side. Now pull on the bottom and it should loosen up. Now this is why you did not want to reattach this side panel by the heater, because there's a little lip that holds that in place. So that's why we left that off. So now that should freely detach. You can loosen up the hood release line, and that gives you a little extra slack also. So here is the wiring when it's all finished up. So this is going to the front camera. This is too. But I have the black that I have connected to the black of the switch, and I just made a little pigtail black, and this is going to be the ground. Then I have the green. This was coming off of the main switching relay, and also the red from the camera is going to the green of the switch. The red of the switch going to the red of the override harness, and I have the orange going to the orange of the override harness that were in there. The gray and the blue are meant for only years 2020 and up. I made a few changes. So what I did is I moved the inverter off to the side, on the right side there, and instead I moved the camera button right next to the defroster. What I realized is that when I started the car, the light wouldn't light up, and I didn't want to cut into the green and the gray wire, the factory wire of the defroster, to illuminate the switch. And so in the instructions instead, it said I could hook up the gray wire to the ground and hook the blue wire into the red wire off the switch. And so I had to make an extra cut, and that is what I did here. So I have the blue wire going from the switch to the red wire of the switch that goes to relay. I have orange connected to orange. I have gray connected to the black, which is going to the ground, and the black also coming from the camera harness going to the ground. And I have a red from the camera harness going to the greens of both the switch and the relay. So that is what it looks like now. Now I'm going to clean all this stuff up and put it in this corrugated tubing and clean it all up. So here's where I put the grounding wire, just connected it to this bolt right here. So now I'm going to pop this out, feed this underneath and out through here. When you're all finished, be sure to zip tie that corrugated cable all up and out of the way. Make sure nothing interferes with the pedals. Take out the push pins and take off the hood cover if you have one. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, then we have the middle, 1, 2, 3. So this is our middle line right here. We're gonna put something that's right angle right in the center of that one right there. We're gonna hold that right up there. And that looks to be about center. So we're gonna draw a line. So the center of our hole is gonna be just under it in an inch, about 7/8 of an inch is gonna be the center of the hole. But we don't want the camera right on the edge. We would probably wanna drill our hole at about 1 inch. So we're gonna measure from the edge. So that's 1 inch there. Okay, so that is our spot where we're gonna drill. So the camera comes with these little shims that can angle the camera downward. And there's a couple different, there's large, medium, there's a flat one. That's just a very medium one. So maybe we'll just do the medium one and see how that is. Tighten the bolt behind the front grille where the camera is. It's pretty tough to get at. Connect the video cable. It only goes in one way. Be sure to fit it in correctly, and then secure it with electrical tape. After that, use some heat shrink and make a nice watertight, secure connection. Now, if you don't want the image mirrored, you cut the white wire in the premium camera system. I was actually really surprised by the quality of this camera at night. It really picks up the details very, very well. So that's a bonus. Another thing I discovered is that you can toggle between front camera and rear camera while you're driving. And so that's pretty cool. Like you're at a stoplight or something, you can hit the rear camera. You can take a look behind you without going in reverse. Front camera anytime at any speed. It really works out great. So I definitely recommend this anytime front-facing camera. It costs maybe like $200 or something like that. So not too bad. The wiring is a little intimidating at first, but you can definitely do it if you follow the steps, and it works out really well. Be sure to subscribe and like and share this video if it helped you out. It definitely helps things out. It helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you for making it this far in the video, and if you are doing your wiring, good luck, and thank you. Bye.